I invite every person, I invite every woman here, every non-Muslim woman here, to stand to the side when we leave here and talk to a Muslim lady. I mean, now, let's not ask Barbara Walters about how Muslim women feel. Let's not ask CNN, ABC, Fox. Let's not ask the London Times or the Australian Times. Let's not ask non-Muslims about how Muslim women feel, how they live, what are their principles, what are their challenges. If you want to be fair, ask a Muslim woman.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings be upon those who follow guidance. Brothers and sisters, today I listened to an individual called Ayaan Hirsi Ali, and she's been invited to a TV show on ABC, and she also got about 25 or 30 minutes interview on ABC digital radio on 774, and she was interviewed by a man called John Fame. Now, brothers and sisters, let me introduce myself. I'm a Muslim Australian, born and raised in this country, and it is time that we speak against falsehood, propaganda and hatred lies against Islam. So for the next few minutes I'll be exposing Ayaan Hirsi Ali, who claims to be an ex-Muslim leaving Islam and being forced to leave her marriage, or she was forced into marriage and she abandoned her country in Somalia, and then she ran to Norway or Denmark, Holland, whatever it is, and then she moved over to the US, and then she came here to Australia, and she's published a couple of books, such as a book which is called Infidel. And of course we understand the propaganda of why they actually interviewed her, so she can sell her book, which will help their propaganda agenda. And the interesting part of all is majority of her arguments are not based on Islamic theology, but the misconceptions that she has about Islam. And I don't believe she was a devout Muslim, even though they presented her as a devout Muslim, because even today when I listened to John Fame's radio show, she couldn't even say the name Quran properly. I mean, the way we say Quran is Quran. She said Quran. What the hell is Quran? She also said that Muslims want a Khalifa state, but she couldn't even say the word Khalifa. Instead she said Caliphate. Now, no so-called Muslim says Caliphate. This pronunciation comes from westernized terms who can't even say the Arabic word. So for her to be a devout Muslim and make these silly statements is quite amusing and interesting, in fact. So I believe as a Muslim she was probably born into a Muslim family, and of course you know, just because her father prayed, just because her mother prayed, she assumed that this makes her a Muslim as well. Maybe she did pray, I don't know. But being a devout Muslim has a huge title behind it. Number one, you must read the Quran, know the legislations and understand them in the Quran. You must follow the Hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You must implement the fasting, the pilgrimage, the praying, knowing who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, etc, etc, etc. But you see, I know because I was from a Muslim family, and being born and raised in a Muslim family, my parents were practicing Islam very culturally. You know, I used to read the Quran in Arabic but never even understood what it means because I was English. So until I got myself an English translation of the Quran, which was about, I don't know, 7-8 years later in my life, when I came back to Islam and understood it completely, then Islam really made sense, and I was basically a born-again Muslim, a different Muslim from the very beginning, and a Muslim that truly started understanding what Islam is, because when you read and understand it, it makes more sense. Not just read it and think that you're a Muslim. Islam is more than that. You need to understand what you're reading. So we understand the background she comes from. But anyway, let's get to the topics, and let's listen in to the Australian commentator.
Ayaan Hirsi was raised Muslim in Somalia, but fled her home to escape a forced marriage and moved to Holland as a refugee. She eventually became a member of the Dutch.
Let's pause it there for a moment. Notice what she said. She said she was forced from marriages, or forced into a marriage. So this is why Ayaan Ali is absolutely lying, because she doesn't know her Quran if she's blaming Islam about forced marriages that some cultural so-called Muslims are doing in foreign countries. First of all, in the Quran, in Surah An-nisa, verse 19, it says, Surah An-nisa, verse 19, "O you who believe, you are forbidden to inherit women against their will, nor should you treat them with harshness." This amazing verse in the Quran indicates that you cannot marry women against their will, proving that forced marriages in Islam is clearly forbidden. It's only through the consent of the spouse that the marriage becomes lawful. That includes both parties. So you see, brothers and sisters, and dear guests who are listening, non-Muslim guests, that this lie that Ayaan claims she was an ex-Muslim and that she was a devout Muslim, she doesn't have any clue about the Quran dedicating a verse completely towards women, justifying and liberating them against any sort of oppression by any person, especially their husbands or their fathers or mothers, because it clearly says you are forbidden to inherit women against their own will. Okay, so you see, brothers and sisters, if maybe Ayaan Hirsi sought answers from Muslims in her time, maybe she wouldn't be an ex-Muslim today. But you see, brothers and sisters, I don't believe she was a devout Muslim. I believe, again, this is all about propaganda. She was probably a Christian missionary all the time, or maybe she was an atheist all the time, and because she wanted to sell books, records, and be famous, because it doesn't take much to be famous, honestly. I mean, we write hundreds of books about Islam, hundreds of books about Islam. We don't get TV shows in westernized countries talking beautifully about Islam. But you see, all you have to do is write an anti-Islamic book, and you get a TV show, you get interviewed on major television shows like ABC. You might also get your a conversation hour on the radio show specifically for you, and you could be earning hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars. So, you know, if you want to be famous, do something anti-Islamic, and you'll be very, very successful. So you see how they lay the agenda. In the second segment, we will continue with all the points in regards to exposing Ayaan Hirsi and the ABC propaganda which laid the foundation for her.